champion at the Bridgestone Senior Players. Thank you for joining us. Can you just open with your thoughts being back here at Firestone Country Club?
Yeah, it's always a great spot to come back to, and especially as a past winner here. Just got done with the Pro-Am, and the course is in great shape. It's playing long. You know, it's wet from some rains that we've had recently, and but it's in great shape. And yeah, it's one of those great old traditional golf courses that demand a lot off the tee and into the green and around the green. So you need all facets of your game to work well here this week to play well.
In your last start on PGA Tour Champions, you finished runner-up at the U.S. Senior Open. You got to feel good about your game entering this week.
Yeah, I do feel good. I came off. I was supposed to play John Deere and just was worn out, and body's not responding quite the same yet, and working on that part. And so I took that week off to try to get ready to come here and play. And yeah, I'm excited to play again, coming off a good U.S. Open. And yeah, so it's we're right back at another major. So it's 4 rounds, which is always kind of fun too. So I'm looking forward to this week.
Thank you. With that, we'll go ahead with questions from the group.
I am not going to go to Senior British. I'm going to take a month. I'm not going to Canada as well because I'm not fully vaccinated. I got 1 shot and that was it. So, and I think their laws or rules at this point is still got to be fully vaccinated, or at least 2 shots and a booster or something like that. So I won't be going there. So I actually got a month, which I need. From you guys telling me I'm looking too skinny, so I guess I just better eat this month. Beef up.
That leaves you August, September, honeymoon. Is that pretty close?
Yeah, but I haven't played that much this year, so I'm creeping up on that Schwab Cup list, and there's possibilities there that I may, play the playoffs this year. I haven't played any of the playoffs out here at all in the years that I've been eligible. So I'm looking at possibly doing that, and we'll see. We'll see what kind of deer are on the cameras and see if there's anything worth staying home for, or my girl's telling me to go. And that's been what's going on lately. They're like, "Hey, you need to go and try to do that." And basically, you're running out of years, I think, is what they were saying. So I'm thinking about doing that. I saw a police officer out there today on the 4th tee box, and I said, "How's it?" And I knew what had happened, but I didn't know it was Akron, or this area. So I said, "Hey, how's everything going here in the area?" And he's like, "Haven't you heard?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was here." It struck me then. So he told me a little bit of what's going on, and yeah, it's a tough situation, right? And I don't know the whole. Like I said, I just saw it come across and didn't really pay that much attention to it like I should have probably. But yeah, they're going through some tough times here. So I just told him the same thing. Hope it all works out for everybody here in the area. That and nobody wants to go through any of that kind of stuff, and especially here locally where it happened, and all the people involved. It's got to be very tough for them.
Yeah, I got to ask different kind of. I got to ask you questions. Winning Ryder Cup captain, president stepped up. I'm curious what your thoughts are about withdrawal and how this is affecting, I guess, this year will be the president stuff.
Yeah, I'm sad to be quite honest. It's I understand things can change, new things happen, and I don't begrudge really the players that have gone over there to play the Live Tour. What I do have a little bit of problem with is how they've started to, backstab the tour, and the way I look at it, this is where they made their name for themselves, they made a heck of a living during the time that they played here, for the most part, these guys that have gone over there. And then to turn around and basically throw the tour under the bus, you know, that's what I'm having a hard time with. I mean, I don't care that they went over there, to each their own, you know, I mean, but I think they need to face the penalties too. You know, I mean, they knew what the consequences are and should be for not following our bylaws, which were made up by the players themselves, right? And that's what we agreed to as members of this tour. So to go over there and think that nothing should happen, I think is wrong. And then to go over there on the other side and start backstabbing the tour, I have a hard time with, you know. And I think other players are getting fed up with that part, you know. I mean, guys that are committed to the PGA Tour realize what the tour has meant to them and their families through the course of their career. And not only that, the communities that we go into, you know, how much that means to the communities that we go into. Pretty sure Liv isn't doing that in those communities. I don't know, but, you know, it goes beyond golf, really. And so it's a big picture thing for me. It's not just a money grab thing, is you can go over there, but again, those guys made their choice, and they got to deal with that, you know, going forward. And the things that come from that, you know, I don't know. I mean, I've heard some stories that, you know, in Portland where they played, they all had to stay in one hotel. Is that true? That no family members could come? It doesn't look like it's that disruptive, you know. I mean, I don't know if there's, you know, picketing or rioting or anything like that that's going on through that. But, yeah, that's the hard part that I'm having a hard time with, is just the backstabbing of the tour, just because of what that has provided them over the years and given them the opportunity to do. And like I said, that's where they made their name. Yeah, for sure. And there's guys that potentially could make those teams that are, you know, unless a court battle happens in the meantime where they get some sort of, like it did for the DP Scottish Open this week, some sort of stay or, you know, whatever. Yeah, but it could definitely affect it. And I know Davis I know he's coming in here next, and he's been talking to Jay about it, and we've talked back and forth about it a little bit too, that, you know, there's potentially some guys on that team that or that have gone to Live that would potentially be on that team.
How do you just the captain, especially you, how do you look forward past it?
Yeah, and I told Nikki this the other day. I'm like, you know what? There's so many good players on the U.S. side and all around the world, on the European side, international side. The difference between some of these players is so small, you know, that some of these players that have gone over there you'll miss, and some of them you won't, you know, because there's other players here in the U.S. that are committed to the PGA Tour that will step up and play great, that haven't given that opportunity before. Now they'll have that opportunity. So I believe that we'll be okay, you know, on both those team events. There's enough great players around that will make it for a great event.
The Open was 63 here last year, I think it was, and kind of rose away from there. I mean, is that some of the best golf you played in this far?
Yeah, they don't play us as far back as they would on the regular tour, but it was a good round, I remember. But I remember hanging on for dear life from that point on. But it's a tough course, you know. I mean, you have to drive it in the fairway. Otherwise, you're kind of always chiseling something out of the trees and getting it up around the green and trying to get it up and down or put it in a bunker, because they can tuck the pins in the corners. After you hit it in the trees, you can't even get to some of those pin locations. So it's you need to drive it in the fairway. The rough is down this year a little bit. It's still thick, but it's not super tall like I've seen it here before. So we'll be able to play out of the rough, unless it really starts to grow from this wet weather. But that part will be fun because if we do hit it in there, you'll be able to kind of gouge it out and get it up there somewhere. Yeah, and I missed out on that this spring, so that's a definite carrot and goal for me to try to win again, to be able to get back there, because I was supposed to play this May or March actually at the Players and wasn't able to physically, so I'm looking to try to do that and get back there.
Do you have any lingering effects from what you dealt with from?
I don't know if it's just from that. Well,
I'm guessing you like energy or.
no, that all seemed to come back and very well. I came out of it with a kind of a back issue because I spent literally 2 months either in, a couple weeks in the hospital, and then the next month and a half either sitting in a chair at home or laying down. And so the middle of my back has been, which I've never had middle back problems before, but that's been giving me a little bit of problem the last 3 weeks, and that's why I took John Deere off too, because it was pretty sore, and I was getting treatment in the physio trailer all during the U.S. Open, and this rest seemed to help a little bit, but I'm pretty stiff, and I was stiff before, and I came out of this stiffer. So I don't know if it's because I'm 55 and I spent a couple weeks in the hospital laying down or in a chair, but I didn't come out of that as limber as I wanted to.
Anything else? Great. Thanks for
Okay,
joining us, Steve.
thanks everybody.